News 4 at 4 begins with breaking news.
And first at 4, vandals hit the Lincoln Memorial.
Someone defaced the beloved memorial with red spray paint early this morning. I'm Pat Lawson-Muse.
And I'm Leon Harris. NBC4 sent a breaking news alert to your phone as soon as we got the news about this. So let's go right now to Mark Seagraves. He's live on the National Mall. He's got details on the investigation and the cleanup effort. Mark, what's the latest? A controversial statue on the Maryland State House grounds may not be up much longer. Governor Larry Hogan just issued a statement saying that he wants the statue of Supreme Court Justice Roger Taney removed immediately. News 4's Tracy Wilkins is in Annapolis tonight, and she's got the response from the governor and others who want that statue taken down. Tracy, what are you hearing?
Charlottesville is preparing for tomorrow's memorial service in honor of the young woman who died on Saturday when a car plowed into protesters. And on the downtown mall, businesses are working now to send a message of unity. Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Julie Carey joins us live from where the service will take place. Julie.
Well, you heard Doug talking about the flood warning in our area here today, but it was nothing like what they're dealing with in Sierra Leone. The mudslides were so bad, it is hard to tell just how many people are buried in their homes. You can see the power captured in this cell phone video. A Red Crescent worker says a river of mud came out of nowhere and wiped this community away. Hundreds of people were killed when heavy rains pounded the west coast of Africa, and it's going to be important to find and bury those bodies to keep disease from spreading. But far from giving up hope, rescue teams pulled 2 survivors out last night and have been digging through the mud all day. Sierra Leone doesn't have a good drainage system, and the government has been warning people about the risks of building homes on hilltops outside the capital. At the live desk, I'm Chris Lawrence.
A follow-up now to a story affecting medical care for some of our city's poorest residents. The Washington Post has learned more about what caused the D.C. Health Department to stop delivering all babies at the United Medical Center. The Post obtained a letter that detailed mistakes made at the hospital. In one case, staff members didn't take steps to prevent transmission of HIV from an infected mother to her infant. In another case, a pregnant and obese woman was not treated properly for breathing problems. The hospital was ordered to stop all deliveries and prenatal care for a period of 90 days. Hospital officials would only confirm that deficiencies in screenings and protocols were discovered. The Takata scandal is far from over. Which company has recalled tens of thousands of additional vehicles, some for a second time, over those dangerous airbag inflators?
Need a cold drink or a phone charger? Can't wait for delivery? Well, we'll tell you where you can go to pick up those items within minutes of ordering them online.
And depression affects millions of people, even Oprah. She says she can even pinpoint the moment when it happened. Plus, why she and longtime boyfriend Stedman Graham are never getting married. College students in our area are developing the new way we might travel one day.
That's right. The Hyperloop high-speed transportation system is the vision of Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk.
He is challenging engineering students around the country to build their own Hyperloop prototypes.
News 4's Kristen Wright got a chance to talk with the University of Maryland team about their creation to go along with this program. What did you hear? What is this about?
Well, first of all, these students are so excited about what they have created here. A lot of hard work on their part. These are future rocket scientists, the astronauts of tomorrow. The sky's the limit. Maryland's team of mostly engineering and physics students built the Nemesis Hyperloop. That's what it's called. So imagine seating built on top, and it looks like a futuristic high-speed train. The team's about to take it to the SpaceX competition in California to see how well the pod propels through a vacuum tube at high speeds using magnets to allow it to hover off the track. The students are super proud of their Hyperloop. Notice the UMD colors on it. The team is confident that the pod will perform when put to the test next week, and they can't wait.
It is a phenomenal feeling. It makes me, just shake with happiness every time I think about what we're about to do, especially now that we have it finished and ready to ship out.
So a couple of the students leave tomorrow with the pod on a cross-country journey by truck. The rest of them fly out on Saturday, and then it's going
A consumer alert involving those faulty Takata airbags. More airbags are now being recalled, and you want to listen up even if you've already bought your car and taken it in to get it fixed. Chris Lawrence is at the live desk with a look now at which vehicles we're talking about.
Parents, you may want to watch that student credit card as your kids head back to class this fall. Amazon is rolling out instant pickup to several college campuses, including the University of Maryland. Prime and Prime student members are going to be able to choose from all sorts of items, including snacks and drinks. Name a kid who's not going to order snacks and drinks. We know. Amazon's also going to be delivering those items to the locker location on campus, and they say they'll do it in just 2 minutes. The service is going to be rolled out to College Park in the coming months, we hear.
You're watching News 4 at 4.
Death on a movie set. The production of Deadpool 2 shut down after a stunt woman lost control of her motorcycle and crashed through a store. Well, here with more on this Tuesday trend is Vic Jagger from Magic 102.3. Boy, tell us about that.
Ladies, check your hand. Are you wearing a ring from Tiffany & Company? Well, if you are, we'll tell you which store is hit now with a major fine for selling counterfeit engagement rings. And a big rehab project going on and going to seriously restrict access to one of our most visited memorials.
Now, ABC 7 News at 4 on your side.
And first at 4, ABC 7 getting a first look at the man police say abducted and assaulted a 5-year-old girl.
7 on your side, fighting back against crime. And take a good look at this picture. Police saying a stranger grabbed the girl in a matter of minutes in the 6700 block of Tower Drive in the Alexandria section of Fairfax County. Richard Reeve is there as police canvass the area. Rich?
Tensions remain high in Charlottesville following a deadly and violent weekend. Today, in Emancipation Park, a man with a Confederate battle flag in hand rifle slung around his shoulder as people yelled at him to go home. Jeff Goldberg is in Charlottesville, and Jeff, we see it in this video. Everyone's still very much on edge today.
A new headline late today from President Trump as he fires back against the business leaders dropping out of his manufacturing council. Today he tweeted, "For every CEO that drops out of the manufacturing council, I have many to take their place. Grandstanders should not have gone on. Jobs." 4 business leaders have dropped out, including the CEO of Maryland-based Under Armour, following the president's response to the events in Charlottesville.
And a warning tonight for people looking to donate to the victims of the violence there. The Attorney General says scammers can set up fake charities and said he suggests vetting the organization, campaign, or page organizer before giving your money. And if you do need help, contact the Attorney General's Consumer Protection Section. And this just in, the Roger Taney statue outside the Maryland State House in Annapolis could soon be removed. Taney is the late U.S. Supreme Court Justice who authored the infamous 1857 Dred Scott decision upholding slavery and denying citizenship to Black people. Governor Larry Hogan issuing a statement saying he is asking the State House Trust to remove the statue, and the push to remove it has grown stronger over the years, especially now following the violence in Charlottesville.
The surge of heavy rain in Northwest Washington turned a thoroughfare into a raging river. Stunned drivers did their best to maneuver the strong current down Nebraska Avenue. Stephen Cheatham with the incredible video and reaction from those caught in the downpour. Stephen, this was rough. Developing overseas now, North Korea backing down on threats to launch missiles into the waters off Guam, the small U.S. territory a couple thousand miles south of the rogue nation. North Korea is celebrating its independence from Japan today. Meanwhile, Defense Secretary James Mattis reiterated the U.S. is ready to defend itself from any threat.
And all that going on while Joint Chiefs of Staff Marine Corps General Joseph Dunford continues his trip in China, arriving there after meeting with U.S. and South Korea military officials in Seoul. Dunford said China does not necessarily share the same perspective on many issues, but that the two nations are committed to work through those differences.
Moving on now, ahead on ABC 7 News at 4, Costco ripping off Tiffany.
That blue box engagement ring, not the real deal. The massive payment order that's coming up.
Plus, Amazon's instant pickup arriving where you can place an order and get it moments later. The location in our area ahead.
Dangerous driving as kids head back to class. What we found on just how many people aren't obeying the rules when it comes to school buses on the road. The details next. And still ahead, Millennial Day for Georgetown Soccer. Participation trophies, just the beginning of this promotion that has everyone talking or texting when we come back. Dangerous driving caught on camera here.
And those cameras are on the school buses that bring your children to and from class.
ABC 7 transportation reporter Brianne Carter shows us just how often those drivers blow by the stop sign arms.
Amazon Prime members near College Park will be able to pick up some of their orders a couple of minutes after they make them. Amazon just launched its instant pickup service today. And now, if you order things like snacks or drinks, you can head over to the Amazon location to pick them up right away. The service is only available at 4 other locations nationwide.
And Costco has to pay up now for selling Tiffany engagement rings that weren't actually made by Tiffany. A federal judge ruling that Costco must pay Tiffany more than $19 million. Costco had argued it used Tiffany as a generic term to describe a ring setting and that the items weren't stamped or marked with the Tiffany name and that they also weren't sold in these signature blue bags. Costco plans to appeal the ruling.
You're watching ABC 7 News at 4 on your side.
New at 4, a year after the deadly Silver Spring apartment explosion, federal investigators releasing new information from their work. Kevin Lewis has been following this case since the beginning, and he is live for us at the scene with the reports and new pictures. Kevin, what have you been able to uncover? Tensions flaring up in cities across the country. We just heard from the president talk about Confederate statues and monuments, wondering which ones are going to come down and if we'll take down George Washington statues. He was a slave owner as well, as you know. Well, take a look now at this, a Confederate statue in Durham, North Carolina, torn down from its pedestal. The memorial had been there for almost 100 years, and angry crowds yesterday gathered to haul it down. Closer to home, meanwhile, in Baltimore, 2 of the city's 4 Confederate monuments there are now defaced. The most recent, a 114-year-old statue covered in red paint.
An act of vandalism also on a Confederate-related sign. This in Austin, Texas. Someone spray painted 4 road signs that include General Robert E. Lee's name. Now, those signs will be replaced, but at least one Austin City Council member is asking to remove Lee's name entirely.
And for a second time in a matter of just weeks, the Holocaust Memorial in Boston vandalized again. This time, someone saw it happening and a glass pane was being smashed, but they acted. That's the difference in this case. People nearby held down a 17-year-old until police got there. The panels on the 6 towers are etched with the millions of numbers that represent the tattoos on the arms of Holocaust prisoners and victims captured by Nazis. Well, this iconic and valuable William de Kooning painting is finally back home. Back in 1985, the $160 million painting was cut from its frame and taken from the University of Arizona Museum of Art.
Well, earlier this month, though, a man called the museum and said he found it at an estate sale. Museum officials confirmed its authenticity and just recently got it back. It does require some restoration, though, before it can be put on display. Hopefully, you got a little bit of money for also turning it in. I don't find that kind of stuff at estate sales.
I'm just glad this mystery is finally over. They don't know who's responsible, but at least they have the artwork.
After all these years.
Yes.
And a pair of notorious escape artists are at it again. Lewis and Mowgli are 2 friends over here. A pair of Norwegian dwarf goats. They gained fame for escaping their pen back in April. They were picked up by police yet again.
And late this Monday morning, a homeowner about a quarter mile from the goat's home called police after spotting them snacking in his garden. I wish we had that 911 call. That would be great. Lewis and Mowgli apparently escaped last week as well. Police and the goat's owners can't figure out how they keep getting away.
They probably just chew through everything that blocks them in. They look like they're having a good time, though.
All right, now to this. Georgetown Soccer having a little fun here. They're hosting Millennial Day, and it's circulating this flyer in the only way that millennials would see it, and that is on social media, on Twitter.
Yeah, we use Instagram, too. But you might ask yourself, what would they do for Millennial Day? Among the offers, tickets for just the first half, because an entire game, well, that's way too long. Have a halftime nap for those who do decide to stay. And of course, participation trophies for 500 fans. Get your tickets, though. It's Monday, September 4th at noon against UCLA. I wouldn't mind doing a nap at halftime. That sounds like something. If there's a juice bar, I would totally sign up for this.
And there's a hashtag, of course. Hashtag Georgetown
It wouldn't
Soccer.
even be worth having without the hashtag.
Right. All right. Well, still ahead on ABC 7 News at 4, zooming 700 miles per hour underground. Meet the University of Maryland team presenting pods it wants you to travel in when Elon Musk's Hyperloop starts running.
And here in Northeast, a woman has taken matters into her own hands after becoming the victim of a hate crime. And she has a message for the vandals who targeted her home. I'm Hugh McCray. Your live report is coming up.
It has happened again. Neighbors scared by burglars breaking into homes during the middle of the night. Ungodly crimes targeting churches. This unholy thief is accused of taking a TV from a sacred place. And now police think he may be behind more church burglaries.
Plus, keeping students in the game, what one school district is doing to keep young people busy while school is out.
Live from WFSB, Connecticut's #1 local news. This is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 6.
Only on Channel 3 tonight. It's happened again. Neighbors scared by burglars breaking into homes during the middle of the night. Ungodly crimes targeting churches. This unholy thief is accused of taking a TV from one sacred place, and now police think he may be behind more church burglaries. We're going to have those stories coming up. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Dennis House.
And I'm Denise DeCenzo. Burglars shattering your sense of security. We're going to have that story coming up in just a second because it's really, really unsettling.
Yeah, this is really unsettling because they're more than burglars. They're really home invaders.
New this morning, a stakeout, shots fired, and a chase ending with the arrest of 2 murder suspects in North Texas.
Bombshell report. The FBI is now investigating Donald Trump's alleged ties to Russia.
Final farewell.
America's a better, stronger place than it was when we started.
President Obama's emotional address to the nation and his family.
Turning your workspace into progress. Why more companies are ditching privacy to get employees more connected. It's part of our series, New Year, New You. Daybreak starts right now.
Live from Victory Park, this is News 8 Daybreak at 6.
And good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us here for News 8 Daybreak at 6 o'clock on this Wednesday morning. I'm Ron Corning.
And I'm Alexa Economos. Coming up, it is all over your Facebook feed this morning. The president's emotional farewell address. President Obama, as you see there, wiping away tears at times. And we're going to play part of that in case you missed it. And we're also going to tell you how social media is reacting. So that's coming up.
Yeah, so much to get to this morning. But first up, let's get to Greg and the 3 things you need to know about the weather, Greg.
Yes, it is going to be another windy, warm day. That much hasn't changed, at least not for today anyway. So hold on to your hats. Another wind advisory in effect for today with those south winds quite gusty and those temperatures well into the 70s again today. Now, we do have increasing rain chances as we end the week heading into tomorrow and Friday. And it could be a wet weekend, especially on Sunday. And it will turn slightly cooler, but temperatures stay way above freezing. So no wintry weather headed our way.
We want to bring you up to date on a developing story we have been following this morning. A stakeout leading to a wild chase in Dallas. Investigators say it all started with a murder in Balch Springs. Daybreak's Chris Sadeghi is live in Dallas where all of this played out. Chris, good morning.
And let's get you up to date on other headlines today. Hours from now, President-elect Donald Trump will hold a news conference, his first since being elected. And it comes just hours after a bombshell report from CNN. That report claims Russian spies have, quote, compromising personal and financial information about the president-elect. The allegations come from memos compiled by a former British intelligence operative. The news outlets that obtained the document cannot verify the reports. And Trump has responded on Twitter, calling this a quote-unquote total political witch hunt. North Texan Rex Tillerson will be grilled in Washington today. He is Trump's pick for Secretary of State, and he goes before the Senate today for a confirmation hearing. He has been criticized for his business ties to Russia while operating as the CEO of ExxonMobil. And a Haltom City firefighter will recover after being overcome by fumes. The firefighter was responding to an alarm at a Tyson food processing facility on Meacham Boulevard. It's not clear where those fumes came from, but a second person was treated at the scene. Arlington police, meanwhile, need your help to find this couple in this surveillance video. So take a good look at this. They are accused of breaking into an older couple's home and stealing credit cards. They used them at this Taco Bell in Irving. And we have an update now on the church that was badly damaged by vandals in Fort Worth. The church normally houses the homeless in the winter, but the area where the people sleep was destroyed. So volunteers got in there quickly and placed new beds in the church sanctuary so that very important mission can continue. As always, we're here to help you stay up to date even when you head out the door to start your day. So don't forget to download the WFAA app to go beyond the headlines and get alerts on big stories throughout the rest of your day. Ron?
All right, thank you very much, Alexa. Let's get now to that emotional final farewell from President Obama. Here's the first family arriving back in Washington, D.C. overnight from Chicago, their final flight on Air Force One. The president touched on many things during his address last night. He defended his legacy, citing the economic recovery from the recession in 2008, the diplomatic outreach to Cuba, and the extension of health care coverage to some 20 million Americans. And then he became emotional while talking about his family.
For the past 25 years, you have not only been my wife and mother of my children, you have been my best friend. You took on a role you didn't ask for.
Well, are you about to head to work to a nice, cush office? There's a change happening in companies across the country, turning less privacy into more productivity. The new trend coming up right after the break.
Meantime, we're sitting in our office. It's this studio right here. And caught on camera, a thief wearing tights. A fashion faux pas, perhaps. Certainly a bizarre crime. We'll have the details at 6:36.
Good morning, Pilot Point, Allen, Fairview, and all of North Texas. Follow us and let us know if you're enjoying this unseasonably warm weather. Use that hashtag #IamUp. 20 minutes now before 6:30.
Here's a deal for you this morning. JetBlue launching a flash sale, dropping fares below $100. That's for round trip on many of the carrier's routes across the country. The sale does end tonight and is good for travel from January 18th through March 8th, with only the week of February 17th blacked out. Generally, that's the winter break week for school districts. Fares are not available on Friday and Sunday flights. Keep that in mind.
In about 3 hours from now, we will hear from the president-elect. Again, that's in about 3 hours. He's expected to speak from Trump Tower in New York City. It has been more than 6 months since his last news conference, and Daybreak's Marcus Moore has been following this story from our newsroom, and it comes on the heels of new and explosive allegations about ties to Russia. Marcus.
Alexa, good morning. The last time we heard from the president-elect in an official news conference was back in July. Certainly, there will be questions about everything from his most recent tweets to confirmation hearings underway right now on Capitol Hill. But then what will undoubtedly come up are those serious questions about Russian hacking into the U.S. elections process. Just yesterday, CNN published a report that intelligence officials advised the president-elect last week that hackers targeted him and that they potentially have blackmail on him. Also, there are suggestions that Russia has been assisting Trump for as many as 5 years. These are unsubstantiated and unverified claims, and there have been strong denials from Trump's camp on the validity of the allegations. And also, it's important to point out this morning that much of the information is coming from a single source, a former intelligence officer from a Western country who specialized in Russian counterintelligence. That's according to our partners at USA Today. And this morning, just a few moments ago, the president-elect tweeted this. This within the past 20 minutes. He wrote, "Russia just said the unverified report paid for by political opponents is, quote, a complete and total fabrication, utter nonsense," end quote. And he said that it's very unfair. Here's another quote. "Russia has never tried to use leverage over me." And then you see here he says, "I have nothing to do with Russia, no deals, no loans, know nothing. That from the president-elect just this morning on Twitter. Of course, this will undoubtedly come up during that news conference that is expected to happen at 10 a.m. our time in New York. Live in the newsroom, Marcus Moore, Channel 8 News.
Marcus.
Live from Fox Providence, this is Eyewitness News at 6:30. Coverage you can count on.
Eyewitness News tracking the big stories for you tonight at 6:30. Former New England Patriot Aaron Hernandez is indicted in another murder investigation. Details on the new charges and what we've uncovered in court documents filed in the first case against him.
Plus, 100 subpoenas. A lawyer for former House Speaker Gordon Fox reveals new information about the investigation into the 38 Studios deal.
Justice. Justice. I want to see justice done.
An emotional call for justice from the family of Providence's latest homicide victim. Good evening, I'm Steve Nielsen.
And I'm Shannon Heggie. It's our first big story tonight. Former New England Patriot Aaron Hernandez indicted in another murder investigation.
The one-time football star is already awaiting trial for the murder of Odin Lloyd last June in North Attleboro. And this morning, a grand jury brought 2 counts of first-degree murder charges against Hernandez for an unsolved double homicide in Boston's South End in July 2012. Eyewitness News reporter Susan Campbell has been on this story all day long, sifting through court documents. She joins us now with what she's uncovered. A local family is mourning tonight following a shooting that claimed the life of a young man and wounded his teenage sister. This was breaking news last night at 6:30. And now, as police investigate, loved ones of Devon and Destiny Taylor hope justice is served. Eyewitness News reporter Sean Daly has their emotional plea. He joins us from the Providence Mobile Newsroom with the interviews you'll see only on Eyewitness News. And new at 6:30, more charges are brought against 2 suspects in a Christmas Eve murder in Pawtucket. 20-year-old Daquan Watts and 17-year-old Jose Lopez were already facing first-degree murder and conspiracy charges in the shooting death of 21-year-old Ryan Almeida. Today, we learned both are also charged with discharging of a firearm while committing a crime of violence and also carrying a firearm without a license.
There's more coverage you can count on Eyewitness News at 6:30.
Another case of measles discovered here in southern New England. We'll tell you where.
Plus, new numbers reveal local boating safety is at an all-time high. Those numbers coming up next. And here's a look now at what's coming up next on Fox Providence. And we're back now with a look at some of the stories people are talking about.
Well, new at 6:30, a third case of measles has been reported in Massachusetts this year. The Boston Public Health Commission confirms to our affiliate, WBZ, a person was treated for measles at Mass General Hospital on May 5th. Health officials believe it's an isolated case. The measles is easily preventable with a vaccine.
New at 6:30, recreational boating deaths across New England hit their lowest number on record last year. The U.S. Coast Guard tells us 33 boating deaths were reported in 2013 for the area spanning from the Maine and Canadian border to northern New Jersey. That's down from 49 boating-related deaths in 2012. In last year's boating deaths, 88% of victims were not wearing life jackets, and 21% involved alcohol.
The Department of Health has approved CVS's application to open its first Minute Clinics in Rhode Island. The retail walk-in clinics are already located in 28 states. The Woonsocket-based company wants to open 7 locations in the Ocean State. Now, Minute Clinics offer services that are provided by nurse practitioners and physician assistants 7 days a week. Most visits start at $79 and insurance is accepted. There's more coverage you can count on Eyewitness News at 6:30.
A Target 12 investigators exclusive, missing money. State police are investigating after courthouse officials realize they can't find thousands of dollars.
Increased chances next 24 to 48 hours of some wet weather. I'll have all the timing on this, your 7-day futurecast coming up next.
Now another Target 12 investigators exclusive. We've learned the Rhode Island State Police Department is investigating a complaint that thousands of dollars in cash is missing from the Kent County Courthouse.
And we now know their focus is a court clerk. Target 12 investigator Walt Buteau has the details now from the Mobile Newsroom.
Now, Eyewitness Sports with Yanni Caracas.
As if David Ortiz's 3 World Series rings, nearly 400 home runs in a Red Sox uniform, and countless clutch hits weren't enough of a reminder to the Minnesota Twins that they made a big mistake by releasing him in 2002. Big Papi had to rub it in just a little more, hitting 4 home runs in the last 2 games against the Twins. The finale of this set, Papi and the Sox wrapping things up. Matinee baseball, Clay Buchholz on the hill for Boston in the second with a man on. Chris Parmelee getting some good contact deep to right center. That's off the scoreboard. 2-0 Twins. To the 9th we go. Sox down 3-1, down to their final out. Bases loaded. Will Middlebrook singles to right. Jonathan Herrera into score. Here comes Johnny Gomes. Red Sox tie the game at 3. We're headed to extra innings. In the 10th, Andrew Miller in some trouble. Man on second with 2 out. Aaron Hicks sends one to left. Kurt Suzuki is being waved home, and Grady Sizemore's throw is not in time. Twins walk off with the 4-3 victory.